Here we go. Here I go. Here we go. There we go. There we go. And oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, okay. I thought that might be a live version of a song you were playing.
But thank you. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear the applause?
I could hear it, but now I'm wondering, are we interrupt? Is it doing that thing again where we can't talk over each other?
It shouldn't be. I don't
Okay,
think
thought it
so.
just did.
So you did just hear that though? Wait.
Yeah, I heard it.
On the second half. On the
No, I
second
heard.
half.
I think I heard the whole applause.
Heard the whole
But
thing.
I don't think we deserve it though,
And
because we're 2 years into this
maybe a little. Well,
pottycast.
I
We're gonna
know.
change it to
I've got
pottycast.
sound effects now though. See, check it out.
Okay.
There we go. Did you hear
I,
that?
no.
God damn it! Hold on. Here, let's try it again.
Oh, okay. I got that. I got
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
It
times.
only takes 3 seconds of delay.
The timing is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's pretend like none of that happened. Let me see. You're
That's
recording.
how we roll. Just
Gosh
like
dang
on
it.
stage.
Here, I got one for you. This one's just for you.
Okay.
You might have heard this song before.
Whoa!
Wait, now I don't hear it.
I hear it.
You hear it?
Yeah.
I hear it. There's a delay. Okay, so so sick. So are you playing bass on this? This is
Yeah,
all you.
everything except
Nice,
the vocal.
dude. So I just did.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Moftax Bray's project, one of your many projects, right?
Yeah, it's mine with my wife, with Noelle, and she's the face, the leader of that. So I do produce the music, but she like kind of directs the videos, which we try to make a video for every song. We've done that so far. We
So
have
cool.
like five. We released four of them, I think, during the pandemic, and then now we're kind of halfway through the new record with one done, and one is the next single's coming out January 23rd this month
Nice.
in a couple weeks. Yeah. So, but dude, even more than like my own stuff right now, that's the most exciting project to me. I feel like just zero rules and really
Yeah.
free, and like I'm excited to work on it all the time, and we're filming the next video this weekend. But
Nice,
thanks for
dude.
playing that. I didn't even know
Yeah,
you were hip
man.
to
Yeah,
that.
because I've seen your posts and they're always really interesting looking, and I hadn't really listened, and so I just
Yeah,
honestly that was just the first one that came up, and I was like,
yeah.
this is cool. So is that one of the older ones?
No, that's the newest one. They're
Nice.
pretty varied, like all the different songs we've released. They're different, but it's a totally slept on project, to be
Yeah,
honest. Like it's kind
yeah,
of like, I want to say, sort of like this podcast. It's a little bit like a little
yeah,
gem,
yeah.
that
You're
people
just
can
like
find.
sitting on it, and like both of you are probably like, dude, we got to do this because it's really
We
good,
are.
right?
We're talking about it all the time, and
Yeah,
stressing over whatever 100 people
yeah, yeah. But
hearing it.
I mean, but
But
you
it
never
doesn't matter
know.
because
Yeah,
that, and we're just like on fire for it, and that's the most important thing. And
yep.
it gets to get her messages out, that and thoughts, and
That's
like
that's
political
cool.
stuff, and so it's
Yeah,
kind of dark wave.
I
But
love
dude,
dark
I
wave.
recommend 7 Foot Hawk, which is a
Okay,
different song of ours, and the video's pretty hilarious. So
nice,
for
dude. Yeah,
anyone
all the
listening, I recommend that one.
that's awesome. So do you release everything as singles, or did you do
Um,
like an EP or anything?
we did the EP,
Yeah,
and we did probably both, four singles, and then just released them all
I
together.
gotcha.
Each video as it comes out, we'll always release, So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's singles, but they always lead to some kind of EP or
Compilation.
collection. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And do
But
you yeah, no, this is interesting to me because like writing songs and where the world is at with music, it's like I always think I'm like cuz I'll have a song and then friends will be like, "Dude, you need to make an album." Or this but then I'm
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I would love to, but does it matter? Like does it matter to make an album or should I just
Only
release?"
if it does to you.
Yeah,
Only
and
if you have
it
a
does to
theme.
me. It does matter to me because I do think it's really cool to have like a stream of thoughts that are
Yeah,
connected,
yeah. And
But
that's why you're an artist. But
yeah,
mostly what's coming out, I think, in the last few years, it's back to the. I'm not saying anything people don't already know, but it's kind of
right,
like back to the '50s, where
yeah,
you have like Elvis just releasing a single every month or two,
exactly,
and it may or may not be part of a compilation later.
right,
So
and that is cool. Like I think it's kind of that's one of the cool things about the modern day that uh, it's easy to like as I don't know, like because music kind of it not kind of it is extremely devalued now,
oh
unfortunately.
my God, yeah.
Um, but at the same time, it's kind of like you can just put things out like as singles. But
But if you're
yeah,
not doing it like every month, I think it's a bit counterproductive
to do a
because,
single,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, then it's just
yeah,
you don't have a momentum going. And so
right,
I'm still kind of old school with my mentality that, so for instance, with the Dens, and maybe you're
yeah,
like this with your Jeff Sabru project and stuff, is you have this vision for maybe you have 6 or 12 or more songs
yeah,
and you kind of know they're going to go together and it's this feeling.
absolutely,
And I don't know if, we're not burning up the charts yet. So
yeah. It
it's
doesn't
like
matter
kind of
though.
the reason I'm doing, yeah, it just doesn't fucking matter. So
Yeah, but
it's
I
like
mean,
whatever
it's
makes
like
you feel good.
it's whatever matters to you as the
Yeah.
creator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I totally get that, and I always love an album where you're like, I'm always intrigued by like, oh man, that's it's like certain songs have like an order that they're supposed to be in where you're like, what a perfect song three,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
Right.
or you'll be like, I need that song 10, like what is that song where you're like, where it's
See,
like you
that's
kind
old school.
it
That's
is.
old school,
It
baby.
is.
I love
Where
it though. I'm
but
all for it.
it's always like the song one is like the boom. It might not be as far as big artists like might not
Right.
be the hit song, but it's
Right.
the one that like oh that's like the bam here it is. Might be the
Yeah.
intro or the opener, of a show.
Totally.
But then it's usually like the song three is maybe the big song,
Right.
song three,
Right.
and then if they're real bangers, then they'll be like song three, song four, song five might all be hits, and then it
Yeah.
starts getting deep, like, uh,
Well, there's that mentality, and just it's coming to my mind right now. But of course, I'll use Prince as an example. So I think of like Purple Rain
yeah,
starts with Let's Go Crazy, which is a huge hit,
yeah,
and so it's both. It's kind of big and
yeah,
a hit. But I think what happens is you get the a little bit more sophisticated singles that probably are better and might be end up being a bigger hit, but you release them after, so you have the kind of easy to digest one
yeah,
first.
yeah,
I mean, 1999 starts with 1999.
yeah. So good.
The
I
and
mean,
they're
he
kind
just
of similar.
I think he just kind of knew he had it.
Oh,
He's
come
like,
on.
let's just go, let's just do it.
Yeah.
It's
But
amazing.
like so I think if he would, for instance, with 1999, not to belabor this, but he was one of the best ever. So if the next one is Little Red Corvette on that record,
Yep.
and I think it was smart. It's better to start with 1999. Actually, I'm not
Yeah.
even positive he did that. I might be talking wrong, but that one is a little bit more of a second single that
For
is probably
sure.
a better song and a bigger hit. But
Yeah.
it's what you're saying. Yeah, the opening banger.
I mean, it's
I,
that
I
song's
kind of
just
did away with that recently myself, just trying different things. I
yeah.
used to do it that way. Aliens Are Here album that I did, I tried for that 1999 approach. And
Uh-huh.
then the album that I released in the pandemic, which is Stingray, had no bangers. It was
Yeah.
just all like
Yeah.
mood
Yep.
stuff.
That was it.
So
I did the same thing. I did a
yeah.
Petrito record during the
Hmm.
pandemic that there was it always just kind of like here, like a flat
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Um and it's weird. That's and actually it I my first song is I love the intro because I did this whole thing that's just feedbacking guitars and it's doing all these like news reports of the
I
times,
remember that, bro.
And so
Yeah.
like I was really happy with it. I did a lot of overdubbing of like news anchors, like just and like politicians, like talk a lot of like just
So
samples.
you grabbed specific stuff for that and
I
took
just
your
was
time and
I had an idea of just kind of how I was hearing it, and I would just go on YouTube and find things.
right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it does. It's it's very clear. Like, oh, okay, that's like a pandemic kind of vibe. But
But I want to know what listeners think about this. So this can be like a little discussion. Do you, okay, as a listener, because I want to do things that are really a bit self-indulgent at times, which is fine. You know, do an artist needs to do whatever they want. But sometimes as a listener, I want to skip past that.
yeah, well,
Just to being honest,
I me too. Like Nine Inch Nails, I love Nine Inch Nails.
me too.
90% of their good songs, there's like a 2 minute intro of just like and it's like and I'm like and I'll be and
You're
when
like,
you
did I leave the
yeah
oven on? What is
and
that?
like if you forget the name of the song, which is very easy with that stuff, you'll be
Oh
like,
yeah.
damn it, is it this one? And then you'll change songs and it's like
Half a step higher.
and it's like you gotta like fast forward way
That
up and
one
then
was Wee number
yeah
two.
and
Yeah.
then it's like do and you're like, okay, there's that part. Okay, let me just get a little farther, like 7 minutes in.
I'm
But
suffering with
yeah,
you now.
yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
he does.
I know. Yeah, with his thing. But
He's dope.
for me, what? Okay, so my sampling, I did it at least as far as that little EP. I did it all over music, so it was like the music was the main part, but then
I got you.
I would just have some weird talking over
Yeah.
it, you know,
Yeah.
like So it's at least
That
I
kind
don't.
of bridges it. I hear that.
Yeah. I
And your music is really, you know, kind of dense and sophisticated musically, even without vocals. So it's
sort
part of the
of
listening.
yeah. That's
Whereas
like
I'm kind of probably a little bit more pop, you know, arrangement.
right.
So it would be like, oh, come on. You know what I mean?
Well, you never know. Like, yeah, the Petrito
Not
stuff
always.
is definitely hard rock.
Hmm.
I mean, but it's if you like, I guess if I broke it down, like all the chord progressions pretty much are still like pop chord progressions,
I
just
got
like
you.
just kind of delivered in a harsh way.
Yeah,
But
absolutely, man.
yeah, but yeah, man.
But
So
what was the more fusiony project you did? Was that
that
just
was
called
just
Jeff Sabru Band?
that was Jeff Sabru band, yeah. And,
Yeah,
so those I was
that's awesome
purposely
too.
trying to get like cute with it, as Musk
Yeah,
would say.
right,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and so yeah, those are yeah. I was really like was going for something that was hard, man. That was one of the hardest, the
But
hardest.
you did it, and it needed to be an album, I think.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that yeah, I definitely with those. What did I do? Well, I did three, I guess. I did two kind of albums with two bands. Both of the albums we recorded live, which was pretty
hmm.
rad.
Whew.
Yeah, I know. And the way I did it, though, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing? You know, as far as like,
In what
but
way? What do you
it,
mean?
it just like, well, the first one, I was like, dude, we got to do it all live. And I
Yeah,
wanted percussion.
which no one would know, really.
No one would know. And
I mean, but it's for you.
we could have got probably better takes out of just going piece by piece. I mean, not probably, like, I'm going to say for sure.
But you don't. But was there interplay
Yeah,
in
no,
the
there,
so
and
that you can't replace?
and the
That
thing
you
is
can't
on
create.
both records, I kind of had the like the plan was I was going to record it and then I was going to take everything home and then redo my solos.
Yeah.
And I took it home and I would just like be like, oh, actually, I kind of just like it. It was vibing, you know. So I kept it, but it's one of those things. I'm really bad at about listening to my own music. Like it's got to be. I've only got a few.
Yeah.
I only have a few songs that I really will like still.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird. So
No, that's natural,
and it's got
dude.
to
How
be
about
it's a timing thing too. So
well? How about this theory? So as far as recording or playing at the same time. Um, Whoa, it looked like a huge bug just fell.
it
Uh,
was a moth tax. No,
yeah,
wait, it's
it's
oh,
charging me.
sorry, moth tax. Is that a fuel thing? What is that?
No, it's not a fuel thing. It is. It has to do with. It's short for taxidermy.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, so it has to do with. For a while, Noelle was doing a lot of bug taxidermy. Like
Whoa,
she would find. Yeah, she would just find a big dragonfly and then pin it and save it and kind of dry it and then
that's
put it.
amazing.
Dude, we have she has like an Etsy store with all this jewelry that she would make with
Of real bugs.
resin with real bugs. Yeah.
That's
So she
dope.
made me this praying mantis. It's like,
Oh my!
oh,
So like
cool.
if like a cricket like walks into
Yeah.
like your lair and sees
A
all that,
bar.
they'd be like, oh shit!
Yeah, yeah. My brother. Yeah, yeah.
like
Charlie.
like Ace Ventura when he walks in. It's a lovely
Oh, yeah.
room, a lovely room of death.
Yeah, yeah. Like tripping out.
Hit the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but in a way, it's like celebrating and
I
kind
know.
of
That's why
embracing.
I understand why you were like so aghast when I was like, I smashed that Black Widow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
I feel
I mean,
bad now.
I've been trained.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Good
now I
for
get
you,
it.
man. That's great.
But what I was gonna say is, what
Shit,
do you
sorry.
think about this? So, no, no, no. What do you think about this? So we were talking about the vibe when playing live, and now I think with AI, this is a
Oh,
kind of a pertinent question. Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
let's say you can take this a different direction, but okay, if everybody is in different rooms and you can't see each other and you're playing live together and you're
Yeah,
saying that we're creating a vibe, of course that's different than looking at each other in the
yeah,
same room. But let's say you're trying to get isolation, etc. You couldn't really tell if they just played you a track of everybody else playing. So therefore you could kind of get a bit of a in the moment. In other words, you're not fixing different sections. You
right,
play through, and maybe you play through with them jamming with all the rest of the instruments, which were done one at a time,
right. I
and all
know.
their best takes. So,
Yeah,
so let's say you start with the drums, and the drums are free, and so then you have each instrument reacting to the accents that were, in the
yep.
moment. So it's kind of
Which is
interesting.
what I do that a lot now. Like,
Yeah,
so I'll
with your
get
own performances.
yeah, I'll get like
Yeah,
I'll either yeah, a lot of the songs that I'll like my rock songs, I'll just get behind my drum kit and
yeah,
play whatever crappy beat I play. But I will write something to that,
yeah,
and then it just moves from there. So then I'll like write maybe a song, and then I'll send it to a drummer that's actually good,
yeah,
have him play, and then I'll come back and I'll play again. And then if I get a bass player, they'll play to that. So it's kind of
yeah,
like building.
yeah.
It's kind of
Right.
building off of a
And
idea,
then I
kind of
call
from
Jamie and I say, "Can you lay a bass on this?" And he goes, "I'm kind of busy. Um, I love your, you're the best songwriter. I'm just like, oh, you could play bass on it probably better than me." So I'm like,
he's like yes, he's like yeah I could do it. When do you want to do it?
"Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's more like it." I'm like, "Now I'm
That
gonna send it to
actually
you today."
that makes me feel better because whenever I see him, both of us are always like, we gotta write some music, man. So it
Yeah,
makes me feel
yeah,
good knowing that he'll never do it. So
yeah. That's right. Just relax in that and continue the charade.
I did a song with him. Well, no, he did a couple songs. One was with Steve Moon,
Yeah,
and it was a Jamie rock song. It was like
that he kind of wrote
that
or
he
he
wrote and he
headed
was
up.
doing his big vocals on. It was all
Wow, that's
heavy.
amazing.
Uh,
I must have heard it.
and Moon was part of it. I think there was probably
Mhm.
like some G and T's involved.
Oh,
Uh,
sure, of course,
and
and maybe
so
some shrooms.
yeah, there was probably something heavier involved too. It was at Jamie's house. There were like cats around and stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and yeah, I think that was the time I was there, and he had this roommate that cooked pork loin, and
huh.
he goes, man. And I looked at the pork loin, and it was like red, like bleeding, and I was like, I don't know, bro, that looks a little rare. And he's like, dude, this is how you got to eat. He was like chewing on it. Ngang, ngang. He's like, this is this is how you got to eat it, bro. I was like, raw pork? That seems
No,
like horrible.
Canadian Viking pork. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to die. Right? And I'm not sure what happened to that guy, but that's the last thing I remember. He's gnawing on a pork loin.
And that's the most memorable part of the session. Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah, the song never came out, but that guy probably has lasting
Jamie
effects.
Brown with an E,
Yes,
just so talented.
such a legend.
One of the most fun dudes to hang out with. Great
Oh my,
one-liners.
so many one-liners.
Yeah, he's a Canadian hockey playing, behemoth dude.
Was that
So
your
fun.
butt?
Yeah. Dude, the first day that I hung out with him, this is like an embarrassing story, but I gotta say it because Noel Z will tell me about it sometimes or remind me, which I don't want. We had a gig in Tahoe, I guess with Loveful. We had been in the car a long time, and I was holding in a fart for like an hour, so I wouldn't just be rude to and plus my first time meeting him, I'm like,
Yeah,
I want him to think I'm perfect.
yeah. I
So
don't fart.
we arrive at the ski lodge where we're gonna play a huge place. I get out of the car and I finally, right outside my own door, like let it go. And then he comes around to that side for some reason right away. Like I'm like, dude, what are you doing over here? Like, just there's nothing over here. And he goes, oh my god. He goes, and then he looks at me dead serious and he goes, you need to chew your food better. And he was like, I go, dude, shut the fuck up. That was someone else. And he goes, no, I'm concerned. Which is so him.
So much, dude. Oh my god. Oh, he's so funny. Oh, jeez. That's
So
amazing.
sometimes I'll just tell him he needs to chew his food better. And he'll do that. What? Like I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I love playing with him so much because
Dude, so fun.
he's one that, like me, like he relishes in mistakes.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but if someone does, it's
Yeah.
not like a nervous like uh-oh.
No.
It's a
No.
freaking laugh. Like
It's
so
in the
great.
moment like, whoa, jazz, or what was that? Or
It's so good.
he's
dude.
so at ease. Yeah. I love that. I love that playing with both of you guys. And really, man, I'm like that too. If something's careless, I'm kind of less patient with it. But if it's just like people are playing and into it and some wild shit happens, it's super funny.
Yeah.
And also their attitude about it.
Right.
The person who makes a so-called mistake, if they just keep looking at the floor and like,
Yeah. Then it gets weird.
then you want to embarrass them,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally, man. So, okay. I don't, were you talking about something and I totally cut you off? I can't remember.
No, we were just talking about. Well, I mentioned
Making
AI,
music and
which
stuff,
I didn't really
yeah.
go into that, but that kind of I saw a reaction in you, so I wonder how we might as well ask, like, how are you? You have any feelings on where that's going? And
Well, it's definitely here, and I think it's it's tricky because I think it really puts like pop perfection in a box now.
yeah,
And makes it does affect the way I think about music and honestly the way what I want to listen to and how I want to write. I think a lot more about like what is gonna make this like human, like I'll purposely like use like weird effects in weird spots
yeah,
or leave in like a weird sour note, or like a string
yeah,
noise
yeah.
or like purposely like if a tempo like kind of falters a little bit, I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, that's cool. Like let's
Which
go.
is so funny because you could argue that all you have to do is type that into AI and
I
they
know.
can, string noise, tempo fluctuation.
You really,
But
you
but
could.
the point still stands that like I'm with you. I think it's probably net good because it challenges us to do things unpredictably and
Yeah.
just outside of that box you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I think in a way AI kills pop music, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, right. Where it's kind of we're going back to like, yeah, we got to write good songs and
Yeah, or just make
'cause-
sounds that have never happened.
Yeah.
Make things happen audio wise that you've just never heard,
yeah.
and that's
I
how you'll be able to tell.
I think one area that is really at risk or maybe is already done is like people that make like library music, like
Yeah, I
where it's
see.
like because I was really interested in that maybe like
Yeah,
12 years ago or something
I
where
remember that.
and I was like writing all these songs and I stopped because I was like, oh my god, I hate this music. Like this is horrible. Like just because I would look at these cues and people would say like write a song expressing this emotion and then it's like
Yeah,
make it sound like this. So you're just making like sound alikes. Um
I know. Yeah,
so
make it sound like the person's going in to check their mailbox.
yeah, and then it
You
would
know.
also be like make it sound like this song.
Yeah, Maroon
and
Five
and
song,
so
but
it that is like
yeah,
exactly what AI is
yeah,
for,
yeah.
so I think if there's someone out, there's a lot of people out there that do that. I think that job is it's the writings on the wall with that.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
would think because if you got a
Well,
computer
then
that
I
can
would
just
say it's up to filmmakers or music publishers or whoever is putting the audio together for TV and movies to say, I want something totally unique, and
yeah,
then my whole piece is going to be unique. But if you're talking about for like commercials for TV and shit,
it's
oh,
like
it's just gonna, it's just
it's
so
like the
stale.
like oh my god, the worst music is like reality shows where it's like they'll be like I think we're gonna go eat strawberries by the pool and then this song's like strawberries by the pool, pool and strawberries, ooh ooh, strawberries by the pool.
That's pretty good, bro. Come on, that's pretty good.
It's like exactly what it's like I think I
Yeah,
want to it's just
yeah.
like saying the actual
Strawberries by the pool, unpredictable.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, I wanted you to make the music unpredictable.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one thing with the big. This always kind of happens. It's something about a new year. I think it's because in the music world, for pretty much everybody that listens to this is in the music world, so But anyone that's not, like December, January, first quarter, things just slow down, right? And so
Yeah.
for those of us that are interested in being like artists, which is honestly that's why I started playing music, and then you
Yep.
realize, oh shit, I got to make money. um,
Yeah.
yeah, we write a lot, so it's a good
Yeah.
time to be writing. I've been kind of
Hell
like
yeah.
I think last podcast I was talking about. I was looking for a song in a hard drive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I did find it, and actually I finished it, and so now I'm waiting for the mix. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Who's mixing it?
Eddie. Eddie's gonna mix
Nice. Perfect.
it. Yeah.
And Mark, I did want to mention, what we listened to with the Moth Tax piece you were nice enough to open with, and just everything that project has done, for example, is mixed by Mark Milborn, who's
Nice.
the sound engineer for any band I, have
Yep.
play live. So he's really good. He's, I think, up there with the best live engineer,
Yeah.
but now he's really developing as a studio engineer. So I want to give him
Amazing.
those props. He won't
Yeah.
listen to this, but
Right.
it's okay.
You never know. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my plug is Eddie Kaipo.
Yeah.
He's mixed all well no, he hasn't mixed my live stuff. I kind of wish he did. But that's its own thing. But he mixes all my stuff. So
Yeah, and he's a busy guy, so
yeah.
you might have to wait a little longer to get a mix.
Yeah.
But
Which is fine.
yeah, and
Save
now
some
that-
money.
Well, the other engineer I've used for Den's stuff for as long as I can remember is Cam Parridge. Do you
Yeah.
know that guitar player?
Dude, I do, and I've recently, in the past maybe 6 months, kind of I've never met him in person. I knew of him as a guitar player.
Yeah.
And I had him sub for me in my duo thing with Nervo.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's
and-
right. He did tell me about that. Yeah.
And so then I would text him, and actually I was at SFO a few months ago, and I saw him and his girlfriend or
Yeah.
wife or
Angeline,
Angeline.
girlfriend.
I saw
Yeah.
them walk by, and I'd never met him, and I was literally practicing songs in the corner of the airport, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit!" And by
Yeah.
the time I kind of got my stuff together, like he was
They're
gone.
gone. Yeah.
And I was like, did that really happen? Because it was like 5 a.m. So I texted
It's
him,
a
and
Scottish apparition.
yeah, I texted him, and I was like, dude, this is weird, but did I just see you in SFO? And he's like, yep, you did. He's like, we're going to Hawaii. I was like, oh man. So yeah.
Dude, he's a gem of a dude, and he used to be in the dens.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, when we had three guitar players.
Holy crap.
Yeah, myself, Nervo, and him.
Nice.
And it was just beastly, dude.
That's cool.
Actually, Bobby Simcox at that time. It wasn't Nervo yet,
Oh.
and Bobby Simcox. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
He's an extreme virtuoso in the Bay Area that plays with a lot of Latin rock groups. So
Cool.
like Sapo and Malo,
Ooh.
and only band names that sound like that.
End with O.
Yeah, Frollo. Yeah.
Hello.
That's the only video game he plays. Halo. He's awesome. But so just so people understand what we were saying, but Cam is Scottish. Came here
Oh,
from
interesting.
Scotland. Yeah, so he's got like a great accent, and he teaches me little phrases like "you're chancing your arm," which I don't really know what it means, but yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Or he says it if like someone bumps into you in a bar and you want to get like aggressive with him, you go, "Gunny, not do that." Shit like that. I love it. It's so fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you say it to someone who doesn't know what that means, and
Yeah.
it just scares
Uh-oh.
the shit out of them.
That's a real freeze.
But he's awesome. Oh, you
Hold
just
on.
froze. Are
Are
you
you still
there?
there? Oh,
Uh-oh.
come on. Oh, you're there.
Oh, I'm here. You froze.
Ooh, that was a real
Yeah,
freeze.
I guess maybe we both froze.
That was a big freeze.
Yeah. All right, Riverside, where you at?
I know, dog.
So,
Okay.
okay. Well, I know you have a subject you wanted to talk about today.
I kind of had a couple, but
Yeah.
we're getting in this deep.
We're flying.
One thing that I definitely wanted to at least touch on, which isn't the one I mentioned to you, but do you
Yeah.
feel like, because I totally do, especially this year, this is like being a musician. This is like one of the only careers where after the year ends and now we're in January, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm starting from like freaking zero.
Yeah,
like-
absolutely.
Isn't that weird? Like it's stressful, but kind of awesome, but
Yeah.
but actually stressful. I've definitely felt the stress lately because I'm like yesterday, you could probably tell I'm like I was literally just my thing right now is I'm just emailing everybody, like just finding work, like trying to line
Yeah.
up my year.
I know.
And somehow it does fall together, but it's just stressful where you're like looking at a calendar, like I gotta build this. It's like rebuilding from zero every year.
It is.
It's
I
so
couldn't agree more.
insane, dude.
Well,
like,
the things I would add to that are one, generally, in my experience, December is like the maybe second or third busiest of the maybe most busy month of the year. So you're
Yeah.
kind of knowing you're gonna sock some of that away.
yeah,
That January, February are kind of a little bit slower, and then March is kind of busy usually.
usually
so-
it starts picking back up around
Yeah.
then.
So it's a weird time because, like you said, I plan to do a bunch of writing at this time, but at the same time, you are also trying to get work, and you might get shitty work
Yeah,
instead of nothing, and then you're kind of grinding your gears instead of writing just to pay some bills.
yeah.
So it's a balancing act that we always have to do. But yeah, it's funny because also another thing I spend my time with in these first couple months is, as Doug Carlson used to say, is you're sharpening the sword.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
what this means is, generally you're adding songs, or you're doing more rehearsal than you normally
Yeah.
would with any and all projects. So because you don't have time later when the gigs are
Exactly.
pouring in.
Yeah,
So this is the time you'll like pick, whatever, 10 or 20 songs and try to add them in, and you'll only end up keeping 3 of them, of course.
right. And Doug is the G. Like he knows for sure.
Yeah.
And it's so true because when you get busy, like with writing, it's like
Yeah.
I have some friends that I'll do music for and produce their music, and they'll send me songs in like, July or something, and it's just months. They're like, "How's it coming?" I'm like, "Dude, I haven't even opened my Pro Tools,
It
like
sucks because there's something about music that's so true to the moment. I mean, it's timeless, but also there's I don't know, I always use the word momentum, and just a something in the air that to me, if I'm writing something and then I try to come back to it 6 months later, sometimes it's dead.
I know. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. And dude, I think about that a lot. Even with musical parts, like big time. Like
Yeah.
there's songs that I'm like afraid to try and touch because I'm like,
Yeah.
this, because a lot of times I'll try and redo something and I'm like, what is different?
Yeah.
Like this song that I just did, I kept all my old guitars and they were like 11 years old, like,
Yeah.
and I think it was, I played all the guitars on a guitar I don't even have anymore too.
Really? Which
And
was it?
it was a 335 that
Uh,
I always kind of hated.
but
Like
that's a certain sound for sure.
it's a sound, and so I added a couple little licks here and there, but everything else just stayed. But yeah, it's tricky, man. And dude, it was really weird because I did redo the vocals, and I'm like
Ooh, that's
singing.
scary.
I'm singing, the same thing 10 years later, and my voice
Yeah.
is totally different now. It's
Yeah.
like, but I think it's better now. But
Well, then that's cool.
yeah, but it was
It
weird.
doesn't hurt to try it, and you either use the new one or you keep the old
Exactly.
one.
But yeah, so like this whole idea of like starting the year and you're like, oh my God, like I'm
Yeah.
like last year for me was different because I was in between a tour. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like I didn't have to think like this. It was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, dude, like I'm set for a couple months.
But what?
And
So where are you with your touring bands? Are they kind
it's
of?
it's all just up in the air right now.
Yeah,
Like, and
I got you.
and that's the normal, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to it. And even like all my other bands, it's kind of like, yeah, there's this and that, but it's like I've got to have everything going to
Yeah.
kind of like have a career. You know what I mean? So
And here we are.
and here we are, and
Yeah.
it's exciting, and this is what it is.
Yeah, I do
And
love it
yeah,
overall because you're gonna. It's like I like the unknown,
yeah,
and I think I was just talking to Z about this too. Like because her dentistry is gonna turn a corner. It has to. Like she's gotten used. She just became a dentist like 6 months ago.
yeah,
So your first few months, and I do equate this to any career, when you start a new career, or in our case, every year you start a new career.
pretty
you're,
much feels
you're
like it.
like, yeah, the first bit of it is kind of feeling your way and seeing what it's going to be,
Yeah,
and it's never what you expected.
exactly.
And,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's kind
Things
of cool,
It is cool. The unknown is it's
scary,
like
and
it's
exciting.
highs and lows, right? Like where
Yeah,
you're like, I'll get excited, and then when I'm proactive and I'm like emailing, I'm like, oh yeah, like I have all these contacts, and people start sending stuff back, and then like an hour later, you're like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life?
at
Like
least an hour. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
totally.
uh,
So
yeah,
how about this? How was
yeah.
your New Year's show, and how's just that
New Year's show
weekend
was
or that night?
it was good. Oh, check this out too. Maybe this is adding to my stress. I am literally doing the dry January situation.
Me too. Me
Okay,
too.
good job.
Totally. Yeah.
And I started on the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if we have any Green Room podcast scholars historians that want to go back, I'm pretty sure I was one that was like a huge gnar on dry January. Like, I'm pretty sure maybe like last year or the year before, I was like, that's stupid. But
Yeah.
I feel like for where I'm at in my life, my body's like, you need a dry January.
Yeah. Me too. Same.
So I'm doing it and I feel great.
So that's cool. Then you did a New Year's gig dry.
Dry. I took
Mhm.
a sip of the champagne they gave me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was it.
California dry.
Yeah, California. But that's it. Like I haven't drank
Yeah.
anything. So
Was that
which-
at Bimbo's? Did
that
you
was
play
it.
Bimbos?
It was Bimbo's. That was actually a really fun show. It was good. Let's see. Anything memorable there? No, it was
Well, so
it was
Brett's
good.
doing good.
She's not back. She'll be back this
Oh.
week though, which is
Yeah, nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Nice. We love
Um,
Brett.
Yes.
Hells. Fantastic singer. Just brilliant and funny person.
Yep.
Like when I watch some series on Netflix and things, sometimes I don't know why really, but I always think of her like acting some of the parts.
Yeah.
If I see an actress that I thought she could have done that part
Yeah.
because it was a bit of an interest for her at a time, I always bother her about it. Like, are you still gonna kind of do some acting? You know? She's like,
Nice.
she'll do that scrunchy face. I don't
I
know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I
I'm like,
mean,
you
it
should.
basically she basically is an actor, like a voice
Yeah.
actor, so it's
Oh, for
it's
sure.
it's all there.
Good
Um
point. Yeah.
yeah, but we're very lucky that she's coming back and she's doing well, I believe. So that's awesome. Um yeah, so
So
New Year's was
I
good though.
didn't.
It was just it was just a really good show, and
Yeah.
stuck on the bridge until like 3 in the morning though, getting home.
Oh, I thought you
Uh
meant of a song. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. You guys looped a bridge.
till 3 in the morning. You know how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Wanted to get to the outro so bad.
We can't get out.
Yeah.
Traffic jam.
There's no resolution. Yeah. Well, we had probably our best New Year's. I don't know if the show was the best, but the event and the gig was the best we'd ever had
Nice.
with Neon Velvet. So we played, I think it's okay to say, whatever. We played at Atlantis in Reno.
Sick.
And they have like a, grand ballroom kind of thing. But what made it cool was, I mean, the gig was just pretty high end, and that was cool. And they made us fly
Oh
because of the
wow.
weather. Yeah, they
Oh
make you fly.
wow.
So they give you 2 nights, 30th, 31st. So it's
Sick.
nice and like hooked up and like
Yeah.
a good bonding time for the band.
Sweet.
And then the other thing, dude, is they had us finish at 10 p.m.
Whoa.
on a New Year's show. No countdowns, just two high roller private shows, and you just basically do the same show 2 times in a row. Which,
That's
if we get it
amazing.
again next year, please, go ahead and please hire us again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the same show because the crowd was a lot older in the first set. I won't get lost too much, but that's another subject I want to talk about at some
Yeah.
point, is like getting the demographics of your show well beforehand is so important, and we
Oh
often
my
don't get it.
gosh.
And it's
Yeah.
nobody's fault, like not the booker's fault or anything. Just sometimes the client's not honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you give me the demographics of your company and who will be attending? Oh, we're a young, vibrant company, and generally, everybody's 18 to 22. You're like, how does the whole thing run? Come on now,
Yeah.
And then everybody shows up and they're 50, and they're like, come on, AC/DC. I'm like, I thought you wanted to hear Taylor Swift,
James Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 18 to 22 don't even want to hear Taylor Swift. What am I talking about?
I know,
But,
right?
yeah. But so that was cool. And then, so I wanted to mention, it was kind of funny for our historians again, where one year I was asked to count down from 20. And this is the opposite end of the spectrum. Don't count down at all. We heard
Yeah.
that crap
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah. Heard the podcast, man.
Count from 0 to 0. Do
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I started my dry. What I'm also leading up to saying is we started on the first.
Nice.
Actually,
Nice.
not even proper the first, because leading into the new year, we had a couple. We didn't go wild, so we were knowing this would be it for the foreseeable future. I might not
Yep.
even go back in February, but
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm gonna see how. See, the
Yeah.
thing is my lifestyle really does fit with just not drinking, honestly.
yeah.
But the big but,
Talk more about that. What do you mean?
just like I like to wake
Like
up
working
early.
out and stuff?
I
Yeah.
like to work out. I like to wake up early. I'm very much
Yeah.
a morning person. Like
Yeah.
even with writing, I feel like I like to get in my studio in the morning when no one's awake and do my things then.
I love it.
And it's just everything works. But my biggest vice and my weakness is like 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Not on gig nights. It's just
Yeah.
my day to day. I just
Yeah.
feel like I need like a cocktail.
A little smoother. Yeah.
Yeah, like just because I have little kids and it's like as I'm cooking dinner, it's just part of a ritual, where I'm
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
when I miss it. But then if I could get over that hump, then as I'm going to bed, I'm like, okay, this is nice. I didn't have anything to drink. Like,
Yeah.
and then I wake up and I'm like, okay, that was good.
Then
Like,
you're super glad. It's
it-
kind of different for me. It's a ritual too, but it's so social. Like
Yeah,
I'm very with it social. I don't
totally.
need it for playing a gig in the least, but it's just there
Yeah.
all the time. And
Yep.
sometimes it's a boredom thing, which if we're waiting 5 hours in between sound check and playing, you're like, I mean, I can't not
Dude.
drink the wine, or
Yeah, the
whatever.
boredom thing has been on gigs. The boredom part
Yeah,
is
it really gets you.
what makes it really hard for me. Like, especially on
Yeah.
like solo gigs too. Like,
Oh,
because it's just me, so I'm just
yeah,
like, and it's always at like a bar or something, and so people are like, "You
yeah,
want a drink?" And I'm like,
yep,
"Okay," and it's like
yeah,
I'll just have like one maybe, but just that one, it's like so.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't really ever just have one. I'm kind of
yeah, yeah.
I might not have something for 2 weeks, but just we're all being honest here. But yeah, and that doesn't have to be 10, but it
Right.
does have to be 8.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing this year to do it, because I feel like last year was especially like just consistent for me, where
Yeah.
I'm like,
Me
I
too.
would I the problem is that I don't think I have a problem with anything,
Yeah.
and I could just drink every single day, and it's
Yeah.
like I nothing really changes, and I'm
But
like,
my body shows me that something does change
yeah, my body.
personally.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But somehow my day to day just continues on, and I'm
Yeah.
like, there's some underlying thing that's gonna come back on me here that I feel like I need to like
Yeah.
space out.
Well, there's a couple things with it too. One is like once you kind of get on a roll, sometimes I just keep going and to power through. Like if I had a hard weekend, let's say I have like um, Thursday, Friday, Saturday gigs, and I kind of went, drinking through those.
Yeah,
Then even if whether I have a gig or not on the Sunday, I might go out to breakfast to like treat myself, or
nice.
we will together,
Yeah,
and then yeah. So then your Sunday is that.
yeah,
Then Monday, who knows? But
yeah,
sometimes if you have a gig Tuesday, maybe you'll end up just going through. But it has a little bit of that. You have to stop the cycle
yeah.
thing,
Totally.
because one day is going to be hurting to some degree. So you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
plan it.
Totally,
I'm
man.
kind of a masochist. I never run as much as when I'm like pissed at myself, and
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm going 10 today. I don't give a shit,
I know. I gotta. It does help when I really have something to prove to myself, like as
Yeah.
far as like gym stuff, like because if it's like when you're happy, you're not your best self.
That's awesome. Dude, you got to put that on a shirt.
Yeah, there's something to that, like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like
Being hungry.
yeah,
Yeah.
me and my wife both the best shape. We got in such good shape one year, but we look back and both of us are like, we were freaking miserable. Like we were
Yeah.
mad about something, like
Oh,
both of
yeah.
us, but we just got like ripped.
Dude, anger's a great motivator.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what that trade off is. Like I want to be somewhere in between, but
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
yeah.
We talked about that in between at the Vegas gig, if you remember.
Yeah,
That's a
we did.
very just finding the balance of drive and enjoying
Happiness.
life.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird. I'm musically I'm in that spot right now where I'm like, because normally like I like to surf and that takes a lot of time.
Sure.
But lately, I just want to write, and I'm like, I just want to write. I just want to write. But then I'm kind of like, man, like I feel like I need to have a little bit of both, to kind of feed each thing. But I kind of there's this guilt factor that I feel like
Oh, yeah.
if I'm not writing right now, I'm like,
Me
I
too,
need to
bro.
write. I gotta write. Like
Oh my God, I
So-
think about it all the time.
yeah,
And I wonder if how many other artists or people listening feel that, or if it's not writing, what is that for them?
right.
Like the thing that eats at you that you're like, I gotta,
I should be
Put- Yeah.
doing this. Yeah.
it's a trip,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that I think is kind of a songwriter's plight,
Yeah.
is like, and then it hurts. I don't know. For me, there's joy in it, but it's kind of like making art is a little bit painful also.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that's the best is when you're done. But then you immediately are like, I'll never be able to do it that good again. You
Yeah,
know, it
yeah.
starts over again right
I
away.
know. Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. And the going back, like I'm it's so easy to keep moving forward like artistically, you know, like where you're like I just want it's always the next thing. Like, oh, I'm moving on to
Yeah,
the next thing, the next thing.
right.
And it's I've been really forcing myself to go back and be like I've got all these unfinished ideas, like, you know,
Yeah,
and because not every idea is good. It's like one out of like 30 are like
sure.
good, you know. So
Are really special.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta find those ones, you know, like
But
instead of
that's good
just
to hear you say that too. That makes me feel better, and I think it's like a good mentality, you know, for
yeah,
I'd say art, but it could be anything. Maybe is I read this thing that said maybe I've said this before, but write for the trash can.
yeah. I love that. It's
Isn't
so
that
good.
great?
It's
Because
so good.
it's like what that means is don't worry about the result when you're trying to create art because most of it won't be it's just like a process. It's not
Hmm.
going to be necessarily usable or good. So you just do it for the who you are because it's
Yeah,
who you are. It's like drinking water or something.
yeah,
So and then you're more likely to come across good ideas the more you do it.
yeah,
And sometimes I'll try to just make a beat.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
only going to take me 10 or 20 minutes
yeah,
while I'm having a coffee just to kind of get something. If it was just a beat that sits there, fine. If it had oh okay, I'll do a bass
yeah,
part over that. It kind of starts something. And some of my favorite songs, even by other artists, there's not much more there than that.
yeah,
Even the one you just played, the Moth Tax thing,
yeah,
that was a feeling, and that beat is really is the song. Just
yeah,
the drum patterns and layers and stuff. Because that has live drums in it too. I thought of you, um, and then I ended up only using a quarter of the live drums,
yeah,
but it's still like made the feeling it was kind of a tom thing, and I would
yeah,
just use a few of the fills. Um, you know, so yeah, it's just interesting, man.
yeah,
I do get too precious, and I'll think about writing or kind of addressing an old idea, and I feel overwhelmed, like you know,
I know.
or I have only one day, and I think, well, I could get 10 non-music things done today, or possibly zero music things done if
Right.
I, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Right. Yeah. And it's so funny with this is listener, this episode's all about the creative process, obviously.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Yeah, it is.
for me, I'll find a song that like I have, dude. You can't see, but this is gonna be part of my yard art. I have post-it notes all over the place
Hmm.
of ideas, songs, where they're at in my hard drive, which songs need to be for what, and there's a lot of songs. I'm so worried about messing them up. Like
Yeah,
I'm like, God, there's a vibe. I don't want, but I'm like, what am I gonna mess up? They're just gonna sit on a hard drive.
yeah,
like
yeah. We're
like
too precious.
like if I don't mess it up, it's literally gonna sit on a hard drive until I die, and
You know
then
what I
someone's
think
gonna
this
look at
is?
it and just throw it away, probably.
I think this is also the mentality of I'm gonna say you're a solo artist at this time.
Yeah,
So us doing most of the instrumentation and writing all by ourselves, I think has a weird thing to it because if you're part of a band, you're like, we got to get together and you know, it just has to have that collective
yeah,
thing and then you record it and you go and then you're waiting on one person to do their shit with it maybe
yeah,
at worst, but we're kind of like tasked ourselves with like,
yeah,
well, that bass part is not interesting enough to me yet,
yeah,
or I need to change the chords, or sometimes you hit a wall where in a band someone else takes it from there,
yeah.
you know.
I know.
So
And man, I always think about that, and I've always like wished that I was part of that. But
yeah,
when I was part of that, I could
yeah,
only be the one that was writing the songs.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Well,
ask anybody that I've
that's why
ever
we're buddies. It's pretty
yeah
similar.
ask
Yeah.
anybody that I've ever played in a band with, and I would show up with the songs, and I'd be like, "Here's your part,"
Yep.
and then
Right.
and then the few times that they would write something, it would drive me insane.
Oh, that's
Like,
not necessarily because I have had someone comes with like, dude, how about if we do this
no,
here?
I
And,
I'm way better. I'm more mature and like accepting now. But like when I was like a teenager, my
you're like, I'm
bands.
Prince.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I wasn't trying to be a dick. I just was honestly like I
Didn't
feel
like it.
I feel like what I've written is what needs to be
Yeah.
played.
Well, I guess what I'm saying
It's
is
just so weird.
I would bring an idea that's 75% or
Yeah,
50.
yeah,
And then you're kind of leaving room for certain
yeah,
things and you know the strengths of your band. And
yeah.
that's the best scenario.
Totally.
So,
No, I mean,
yeah, but I miss that.
me now though, I love to just give people stuff and be like, here's my sketch. Do your
Yeah,
shit. You
right.
know,
It's
because
great.
now we know enough people to where like
Yeah,
like I know you, like I could give you something and be like, dude,
for
just
sure.
write some vocals on this shit. You know,
For
like,
sure. For
and
sure.
you'd send it back and I'd be like, it's great. I wouldn't even have to listen to it. I'd be like, I know it's
Right.
gonna be good. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah, and
um,
likewise, yeah.
and it's
What you
like
should do, man, we should do that.
I've been
Pork
telling you,
chomp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Pork chomp.
it definitely, and doing that really helps me be able to listen and enjoy my music more
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
I'm like not listening to just my crazy ideas all the time, you know, where it's
And it's
like,
for sure guaranteed to create something that you wouldn't have.
yeah,
So it's going to
exactly.
be something and something I wouldn't have because of what you gave me, for
Yeah,
example.
totally.
So,
Yeah. Oh, and just to me back when I used to write everyone's parts, I'm not really proud of that. it's I'm not saying like I was so cool. It's just it is the truth though.
no, it's
It's
good.
kind of crazy.
It's kind
But
of like my fart story.
yeah, everybody that I'd give the parts to would be like, "Did that come out of your butt?
Yeah. I'm just concerned.
You need to chew your parts better." Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is it time?
it's time, dude. And so I've got two. I kind of touched on one.
Yeah.
But let's go with the one that I touched on first. So Yar and Nar, post-it notes. Using them.
Okay.
We have phones now. Like, do you really need
Yeah.
them?
Right. I think they're cute, and I hate to say it, but it's gnar. And here's
It
my
makes a lot
lame
of sense.
idea,
Yeah.
reason is I'm trying to, for instance, like if I was running for mayor or well, I don't know, governor or
You
something,
can,
I
dude. Yeah.
I have thought of it. I would outlaw junk mail.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good.
And I really mean that. It's like a major stick in my craw.
Things
And
get
so
lost, man. The
and
important
also it's a
stuff.
waste of paper that you don't
Yeah.
need. And
Yeah.
so that's my kind of dorky response on post-it notes is mostly it's like, yeah, now that we have phones and all this other digital thing, it's just kind of a waste of paper.
I
But
feel
I
you.
think there's something that I find endearing about them though if I see somebody has them.
Yeah. It's see the thing is it makes me look at the ideas that I'm doing more
Yeah.
than if my phone is like this massive thing that
Right.
things can go in and disappear
Yeah.
and so I've got these freaking yellow
Yeah.
post-it notes that I stick across my studio and I look at them every day. So it's working for me. I don't know
Perfect.
that it all works, but
You have one post-it note that says "See other post-it note." Don't
It's
forget reminder.
yeah, it says put this in your phone, you freaking idiot. Yeah. Go plant
It's
a tree.
2025, moron.
Yeah, go plant a tree. Yeah. Listen to Bray.
No, but I would say for me it's an R, and I just But if something works for someone, and it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah. I'm just hurting the
directly.
planet. No big deal.
Yeah, that's all. Not
Yeah.
anyone directly.
Nice. So that's mine. I'm gonna go Yar because I have literally 15 of them looking at
Yeah, you got to
myself.
double down and you're right.
Okay.
So I'll take my turn here, which is it's going to bring us a little bit full circle with our discussion today.
Okay.
Yarnar, the word creative as a noun, meaning
Being a
I'm getting
creative.
together with myself and other creatives.
Oh.
I like that
Oh,
response. Yeah.
yeah. I don't like
It's
it.
really popular now. It's
I
really
don't. I
popular.
don't like it. I don't
No,
like it.
nar.
Uh, yeah.
I commend you for your yarnar, which was a yar for you, because we usually it's just
Yeah.
a way to complain about
Yeah.
something,
If
which
we
it is
should,
for me.
if we do have a green room historian, that it would be amazing to go back and tally up the yars versus nars, what
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
both have.
2 yars and 260
It's
nars.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah. So I don't like creative. But
Yeah.
you know
Why
what I
don't we
do?
like it? It just sounds pretentious or
It sounds
something.
pretentious, but
Yeah.
I do say artist. I do say
Yeah, but
art.
that's
It's different,
that's
right?
fine. Yeah,
It's
it's
fine
different.
because that's like it's. I guess there's only you have to describe yourself in some way, right, or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they are interchangeable though, so I don't know why that started. I guess there's different ways to be creative that weren't traditionally considered art.
yeah,
And maybe that's the thing.
yeah, that is a little
But
rant.
still, find a different
Yeah, just find a different one.
way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Non-trad.
Okay, so big nar for me on that. One more that this might have been this might have been said. I might have done this before. I can't. It was in my notes though. Saying Yarnar saying, "Can I be honest?"
Oh, I don't know if you have said that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Because think about
Yeah,
that. Think about that
I know.
saying. Because if you're going,
Can you? Yeah.
let's say we're talking about something, and I'm talking to
Yeah.
you for like we've been talking for literally 1 hour, and then
Right?
out of nowhere I go, "Can I be honest?"
Yeah.
Like so, the whole time I was not honest.
Not. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, it shows how dishonest people naturally are, I think.
Yeah,
You know, if we think about it like the movie Liar Liar,
yeah.
every little thing we say, probably half of it is in some way a lie,
Uh
just
huh.
because that's the way people communicate. But that's pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're British, you go, if I'm honest.
If I'm honest, yeah.
If I'm honest.
If I'm honest,
If I'm honest, the following. Yeah.
right.
I
It
don't,
gets
yeah, I
said.
gnar it. I
Yeah,
gnar it.
yeah. Can I be honest? Like I guess. Like what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. I'm not racist, but,
Jesus. Can I be racist? Like this. So if you could say, can I be honest? Where does that stop? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
can I be an?
I'll tell you where, at racist.
That's the exact.
Woo!
Oh, we better wrap it up.
Yeah,
Oh my god. So before we wrap it up,
yeah,
it's 2025. We're on episode 47. Episode 50 is coming up. We're trying to think of big ideas.
yeah,
Also, we got our YouTube people. Go to our YouTube channel, Green Room Podcast, Ray Granari, Jeff Sabru. You'll find it. Our hub is basically Instagram, so you can find everything from there.
for
We're on
sure.
Facebook now. Oh my God, Zuckerberg, where are you? I hate you.
Yeah.
Can I be honest about
It's
that?
been a total wreck trying to
Yeah.
get those things connected. But
So,
also you can find us on Spotify, and I
yes.
think the most important things are just to keep us able to keep going is subscribe, all the things you always hear people saying.
Yeah.
Subscribe, comment, and
Comment,
share.
comment.
And share.
Share, comment, all the stuff, say you hate us, say, can I be honest?
Totally.
Not the other one. Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so, but anyways, man.
Yeah,
Good
we'll
stuff.
take ideas, any ideas you have, because we're formulating some. But for the big 50th, what would you like to hear?
Yeah.
That'd be fun to hear. So
What should we do? What should we do? Ideas. Bring them in. Send us a message on
be a
Instagram.
creative
Be a creative and
and be
Yes.
honest.
let us see your soul. All right, dude.
All right, brother.
Later.
See you, man.